Hi everyone, I'm very happy to be back today. Last year I was discussing stereotypes a bit, and this year we are going to concentrate on what I call experience, because at the end of the day this is what our customers, which are your customers, want us to do. So you know that everything around IT is moving very, very fast, that people are moving to cloud to simplify the IT, but the main question today it is also, is there one cloud? Is there a cloud? Is there multiple clouds? And what do I do with this word cloud? And if you look at these figures there, they may be very interesting. But at the end of the day, what we see at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise is that the world is a bit different. It's not a matter of I go somewhere. It's a matter how I will manage the data, because the data is the essence of every single person's lives today. And what do I do with this data-driven society in which we are living in? How we enable the access to cloud, fair enough, but how I manage the edge. Why the edge? Because at the end of the day, we absolutely know that for latency perspective, for many reasons such as data privacy and so on, not everything can reside in one single cloud. So all the experience that we are building with our products is really to enable you service providers, because you are the cloud of HP. We have no cloud. You are our cloud. When you work with us, it's really to give you the capability to really address these concerns from our customers, which are your customers. So cloud, for me, it's not a destination. It's an experience. And all the products and services that we are building around that have one single goal. Make it easy for your customers to better address their needs to create business outcomes, and not thinking of one destination, but thinking of an experience. Perhaps this new world is interesting in the IT industry, because not a lot of people are discussing experience. You know, yes, when you are at home, you discuss experience. You don't discuss always experience within the business IT. Now, experience is starting with one thing: people. People from which you can learn in and out, people who are contributing, people who are giving to you before you ask to them, in order that you can have a panel of experiences that are reflected by what they are doing. The second thing that we believe, and I will discuss that a bit with you, the second thing that we want to address is everything as a service. When I say everything as a service, it means that you are able really to pay for what you use. And I would say avoiding also that you are locked in one specific situation, such as sometimes a public cloud, with huge cost if you want to exit. And the third piece of that is everything around artificial intelligence. Why? Artificial intelligence is coming everywhere. You know that. It's a buzzword. Now, how this artificial intelligence can be applied to better manage the IT that you have in your data centers, from storage to servers and everything else. This is a key area on which we are focusing on. But starting with this, collaboration between the people, building the experience on the community game, I want just to give you an update. I spoke last year about Cloud 28+, where it was, and just to give you a sense, Cloud 28+, this is first and foremost a community and a digital business platform that assembles all the kind of players in the industry, working with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise to accelerate their growth at the edge. This is free of charge. This is not a marketplace. This is not a tax machine. This is not that. This is to reflect on the experience of the people working together to accelerate collaboration. And out of that, we identify a lot of trends. What you see there is the result of an e-survey that has been driven through Cloud 28+ worldwide, and we are just in the middle of that. But you see that discussing with the people who have joined Cloud 28+, we are able to identify a lot of needs that are popping up, and also to break myths. Cloud 28+ has evolved. Now it's a very, very big community. You see more than 900 service providers, ISVs, value-added resellers, distributors, but also system integrators, government entities who are sharing at one same place all their knowledge and capabilities. Meaning, if you have IaaS, PaaS, SaaS services, you can publish them. If you have integration services, you can publish them. If you are launching a research, you can publish it. And everything that you will do, you can augment all of that through thought leadership articles that you publish and that we amplify, and we create a connection between the people. Look at that. More than 600 data centers across the world in 47 countries are syndicated through Carlton Terrace. So these are big names. We are in Germany. Mylock could be one. FIS ASP could be one, but also, you know, big ones such as Equinix and so on. And you see that we have a lot of traction with this platform, a lot of end users connecting to this platform, in order that, for us, that we can leverage on it to listen to the market, in order you can create the experience, collaborating with some other partners, creating new solutions, and accelerate your growth. So, as I said, it's a community knowledge base and sales engine, because we are not stupid. We know at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise that as a service provider, you need to grow. You need to have more sales. Reason why, if you are a service provider certified by Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, every single sale that we are going to do to you, if it is coming to an end-user sales rep, people will be double compensated, and we manage all of that. Now, you can see also that this platform is available in 9 languages. What is it about? It is because we believe that the experience of what has happened at one point of the globe should be reflected elsewhere. And we believe a lot in attracting the new technologies from one part of the world to the other one. Second piece of what I wanted to discuss is everything as a service. So everything as a service, and you can see this other stat from this survey from Carlton Terrace members. Today, 52% of the people who have been answering as of today to this survey are asking for pure OpEx model to purchase their IT as service providers. So this is a very big move from last year, which was around 40%. So you can see, we can see on the market that everything as a service, that's good for your customer, but you want to have the same from the vendor. And what Hewlett-Packard Enterprise has designed in order to address that is what we call a full consumption-based approach. So we started the journey, it was a few years ago, and by the way, we started it at Hewlett-Packard in Benelux with service providers to reflect on how you could purchase IT to us without having any CapEx involvement. So we designed a model where, according to what you want to consume, server, storage, networking, we can have a value proposition, including buffers of hardware that we pre-provision, and we monitor everything around your infrastructure in order that we can prevent that you get short of resources, server, storage, networking, and to adapt your consumption versus what your customers are consuming to you. And you see, 40% consumption-based procurement in data center will account as much as 40% of enterprise IT infrastructure spending. This is huge. So we have invested a lot in building the right mechanism to allow you, service providers, to take the advantage of what we call Greenlake capabilities. So we have different kind of offerings around this everything as a service experience, because this is an experience for a service provider, where we have flex capacity. We call it a flex capacity. We can play it with server, with storage, with networking. We can have price per VMs, price per containers, manage over provisioning. It is subscription-based, and this is one thing that we can do. But this is not enough, because your job is evolving dramatically. And when I say that, it's about workloads. Because today your customer is no more asking to you, VMs, yes, okay, this is basic, but if you stick on the VMs, we'll not make any money. You cannot differentiate. So what we are doing with our key partners, and we will listen to some of them later in this session, what we are doing is to embed in this as a service model software capabilities to address specific workloads. Today, I'm very happy to tell you that if you want to build your SAP as a service offering, as a service provider, today you can come to HPE, you can have a proposal in CapEx and purchase everything, or you can have a full SAP ready to be deployed solution that you would pay as a service. What is it for you? It is the experience of the public cloud for you as a service provider. And in this case, you can reflect on your business model, on your business plan, and build your ROI in a more sustainable manner, because what you are going to propose to your customer to pay, you can back it up with us the right way. And this is not enough, because we also believe that everything will be multi-cloud. And when we speak about cloud today, for us, it's an experience. It's not a destination, as I said it when I started this. What it is about, it's about being able to cope with private cloud, with public cloud, with hybrid cloud. So what we are shaping now with this everything as a service is the capability that HP is in front of you and enable that we assemble everything from private cloud, public cloud that you would offer to your customers in a full as a service mode for you. Yes, this is very, very new. And on this side, we are leveraging all the experience that we had with Greenlake, with our customers, to expand it to the public cloud offerings. Now, consumption, it's also about how you, service provider, you can differentiate on the market with the spirit of the consumption model, and how you can address some new opportunities. There is one big opportunity to be addressed on the market, which is certainly long-term retention and disaster recovery. And you know that if you store a lot of data within Amazon, Google, Azure, and so on, the egress costs are absolutely huge. So what we are designing today, and this is available cloud bank storage, and if you want to discuss it on our booth, we can expand on that. It is a capability for a service provider to act as a disaster recovery cloud provider. And this solution is fully available. It can protect about 100 petabytes of data. It's very efficient because we include also reduction and deduplication inside. It's flexible, and it is highly, highly secured. So you can imagine that you, as a service provider, you can back up many, many appliances that our end-user customer would have at your premise, in your data center, with your way. And by the way, if you want to purchase it as a service with Greenlake, you can do it also. The second thing we are working on, and it was announced just a few months ago, and you are going to see far more around that, this is HPE Cloud Volumes. As I said, everybody goes to the public cloud, everybody goes to run VMs, and nobody cares at the beginning about the amount of data that you put there. And when you put all your data in a public cloud, you have two issues. The first issue may be a global cost. The second issue may be sometimes, for certain workloads, data privacy. But the biggest issue is the cost to exit. And we have very good or bad experience, not us, but our customers who try to exit with their data the public cloud in which they had gone, and it costed to them a fortune. So we have created HP Cloud Volume to enable to drop the cost of storage when you are consuming VMs in a public cloud. I mean Azure, I mean Amazon, and more to come. It means that at a certain place in the network, we are going to install nimble storage with a specific capability in order that when you provision a VM into Google or Azure or Amazon, you can not use the data inside Amazon or Azure, but inside HP Nimble Cloud Volume. And in this case, your data are free. I mean, if you want to repatriate your data, you have not to ask the permission. So this is a new thing that is coming today. We are betting a lot on that. It is in the range of what I call the everything as a service motion of HPE, in order we can bring more to you. Now, artificial intelligence. For us, and you see this is another extract of the survey I was mentioning, a lot of service providers are looking at artificial intelligence in different ways. First of all, to create new usage, to give better insight to their customers on their data, but also to better manage their own infrastructure and reduce the risk and prevent any damage when there is something working badly, which always happens. So In this framework, we have been launching HP InfoSight. HP InfoSight is a jewel. I can tell you, we got to purchase Nimble storage a few years ago, and part of that was InfoSight. InfoSight, it is an artificial intelligence tool that enables to prevent everything for a certain system based on the knowledge of the behavior of all the systems deployed on the planet. So we have a cloud, our own cloud, in which we are running InfoSight. And by the way, this is available for Nimble storage. This is now available for 3-part storage of HP, and it is also now available for the servers because the people have been asking more to us. So imagine that there is an issue on a firmware upgrade or an issue that is popping up on a certain machine. Everything is inside the database on the cloud of InfoSight, and if you have InfoSight, you're able to really look at what is happening from a global perspective, and for instance, not to launch this kind of upgrade or this kind of upgrade prior that the problems are resolved. So we believe, as you see that there, that with InfoSight, we are going to improve operational efficiency by 85%. We avoid to have level 1, level 2 support, sometimes level 3 support, and you can see the figures, they are demonstrated and proven. With HP InfoSight, we transform support with 86% of issues automatically open and resolved. The good news is we have expanded that not only to 3-part, but also to HP servers. So look at that, take your time, but this is really something that is very, very interesting for service providers. Last one I want to quote on this, perhaps I don't know if you knew that HP has purchased Blue Data. This is all about data analytics. The same thing that is happening on big data was reflected in the past on application development. In the past, application development was, in series, and you had to upgrade, and it was replaced time after time by what we call DevOps. And a full iteration, I develop, I push to prod, I validate, I certify, I push to prod, I validate, continuous movement. You can imagine that with the amount of data that we are manipulating and that you are manipulating as service providers and that your customers are manipulating, more and more tools are coming the same way, like in development. And what we are doing, we are strengthening our portfolio in order that to propose to our end user customers this kind of solution to really manage their data with data scientists and different logics according to different verticals the right way. For you as service providers, this is an opportunity to watch. Why? Because we are developing what we call solution ready for service providers, and we will have a full portfolio of that around artificial intelligence that you could propose to your customers. So globally, what we are doing at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise for service providers is to enable you to go fast on the market if you want to launch a project. So we have developed what we call tracks and solution ready for service providers based on our partners of Cloud28+ and more, in order that in a few weeks, in a few months, instead of years, you can deploy your solution. If you want to go to market with a cloud-in-a-box solution, we have Oracle, we have Cloud Sigma, and we have customers, service providers who have experienced that. And I can tell you that in less than 6 months, it's working, and you have no question. Same, if you want to deploy, because you want to work with Microsoft as your stack, we have everything ready. You want to launch your SAP as a service, come and ask to HP, at least their mindset, because we are doing that. And you will see later with the 2 people that will join me on stage, we are developing the same thing in enabling service providers to run the same workloads that Amazon is working, and at the same time, we are also enabling, and this is with Stratoscale, and we're also enabling that our customers are better managing their data, and we have full end-to-end solutions for that you can purchase with reference architecture, ROI, TCO, and this is with cohesivity. And I am pleased now to introduce with me on stage Yariv Shapira, who is the Director of Global Alliance at Stratoscale, and Chris Burnett, with the Global Service Provider Business Development at Cohesity. Thank you guys to join me there. Let's go there. It's better. So, Yariv and Chris, can you introduce yourself briefly and your company in order that the audience knows who you are?
Yeah, thanks Xavier for inviting us to join us on stage.
Pleasure.
So, Yariv Shapiro, I'm running the Global Alliances for Stratoscale. Who we are a software company, an HPE partner, that delivers private cloud software, modern private cloud software, which is installed completely on-premise. What do we do in this modern installation is that we allow to bring the experience of the public cloud back on premises. We do that by enabling the services from the infrastructure as a service level up to the platform as a service level, with services which are very, very popular in the cloud today, like database as a service, containers as a service, load balancing as a service, and so forth. And the unique thing we do is we expose all those services with AWS APIs, making those services AWS compatible, hence you can bring the public cloud experience on-premise.
Thank you very much, and thank you again,
Chris,
for inviting me today. So my name is Chris Burnett. I am responsible for Cohesity's service provider business in EMEA. For those of you who do not know Cohesity, we were founded and currently led by Mohit Aran. Mohit co-founded Nutanix and was one of the lead engineers of the Google file system. We are an enterprise class provider of hyper-converged software for secondary data and apps, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail shortly. And I'm also pleased to say that a couple of weeks ago we started our OEM agreement with HP, which is fantastic for our partnership.
thank you so much, guys. So the theme was Fear No Cloud, Cloud is Dead. A bit provocative in this sense, but what is your point of view, Yariv, on that? How do you see things moving for service providers and for end-user customers around all this move between the different clouds? And how do you position Stratoscale to answer the question?
Yeah, I think if you look at why AWS is so successful or why the public cloud is successful, and it's not about the cost, they're actually more expensive, right? If everybody who uses the same platform, you pays a lot. So why do people do that and why it's really growing? And the reason is it allows business to deliver speed and agility. And in doing it by three factors. One is the rich set of infrastructure services, the other is the cloud services, and remember number three, they manage it for you. You don't care about how it's run behind the scenes. Reality shows that enterprises and customers would like to use and leverage that experience, but they have to do it on premises. And they have to do it on premises for all kinds of reasons. Security, regulation, cost, business reasons. There are many, many reasons why you need it on-prem. And what we see is the market is growing and growing and growing. So the opportunity for service providers is actually to deliver that, because they are the guys, you are the guys who can do the manage for the customer, take the ownership from the customer on-premise. What you need to do and use Stratoscale and use HPE, we give you the ingredients to deliver those public cloud-like services, but on your own data center.
And you are fully compatible with everything that AWS is proposing, that's correct?
I wouldn't say everything, we're not AWS.
On the APIs and so on.
The APIs, we are looking at the key services that AWS has launched into market, from EC2, S3 up to RDS and others, and we implement set of services from the rich set of those on-premise, and all of that is compatible to AWS and exposed by AWS API.
So what you're just telling us is that if in the room there is a service provider who has a customer who wants to use AWS but has some problems with perhaps some confidentiality or cost or I don't know what, if they want to develop apps with the smelling, the feeling, the way AWS is doing, they can do it in their data centers by the service provider on-premise with your solution running on HP.
And that's a great business opportunity for growth. Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is really exciting because what we see is a lot of, this is what I call the experience. So what you see within the Cloud 28+ community is that the people are taking the experience and bring it in different flavors. Here you see an example of a company who has taken the experience. That was the first word of Yariv. They like it, they are used to play with the system of Amazon, but how I can do AWS being allowed in my environment with the same feeling, the same experience, but with less risk. And this is what you are delivering.
Correct.
Chris, coming back to you, on the service provider segment, what are your value proposition? What do you want to achieve? How you can help the service providers, the hosters, to really grow their business through Cohesity?
Okay, Cohesity provides a software-defined data platform with Google-like scale and Apple-like management. So what does that actually mean? We like to try and describe things a little bit in iPhone terms. When you look at an iPhone, they really redefined the market. They collapsed multiple devices, so your iPhone has a camera, it has a built-in phone, and many other things. The iPhone has an app store, so you can run many things on the iPhone, and it has a really, really simple user interface to allow you easy use of access. So Cohesity for service providers provides much the same thing. We have taken the Apple concept, if you like, and we have simplified the data center. So what that means is we collapse the silos in the data center. So you might have an analytics silo, you might have a backup silo, a file share silo. So we collapse that all onto a single hyper-converged platform, and we manage it with a simple user interface, which manages data wherever it lives, whether it's in the cloud, in a service provider, or on the customer premise. So what does that mean for a service provider? Well, a service provider can now take services to market much more quickly and much more efficiently. And you don't need a revolution. Typically, a service provider would deploy Cohesity for something simple, like a backup target. So now Veeam, Commvault, people like that can now just back up to our platform. And after that, you can then move into DR as a service, backup as a service, file share as a service, all on the same platform. So massively simplifies deployment of services, and it reduces operational costs by 60–70% because you've now got one platform, one set of people working on it, only one set of cost. And that's just what service providers want to differentiate themselves from other service providers.
And you spoke about your app store, so it means that antivirus, these kind of things, security toolings are available.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of groundbreaking because now you do not have to move the data to different servers. Moving data is always extremely costly in time, network, and so on. So now we run things like Splunk, antivirus. We can do pattern checking. But the ransomware is built in, and for service providers, that means that you can either offer that as an additional service, or it's a service you can charge for your customers, because it's definitely an interesting topic today.
So same question to both of you, because my experience with service providers, it's time to market, it is time to implement, it is time to generate revenue, and they smell an opportunity, they want to get there and to run it. So with your experience, how long does it take if a service provider wants to launch Cohesity as a service for their customers?
Well, fortunately, a bit like the Apple model, our watchword is simplicity. I've had people who have been looking at other pieces of software for 3 to 4 months, and they change their decision to buy Cohesity in an afternoon because we show them the user interface. The CIO, who typically wouldn't get his hands dirty or her hands dirty, can actually start running protection jobs, running a service almost in an afternoon. Because it's that easy. The menus are intuitive, it's all based on new software, it connects things together really simply, and because there's one UI to manage everything, it means that you don't have to have lots of different pieces of equipment to try and configure. So really, really simple, and as I say, then they look at the operational savings for that, and that's really where you make your big savings as a service provider.
Fantastic. So Yariv, on your experience to deploy Stratoscale?
I think the main thing is to start with the use cases. What we see today in the market are at least 3 very clear and strong use cases which have high demand of high growth. One is the growth usage of open source databases in the enterprise. So the likes of Postgres, SQL, Galera, Cassandra, people are moving away into this, but it requires how to manage that. The second thing, which is very common as a use case, very successful and growing again for people who are looking at delivering those type of new cloud applications, is use of DevOps. The use of tools like, if you know, maybe people in the room know Ansible, know Terraform from HashiCorp. This is the way people develop applications in the cloud today, and they're looking to develop those applications to get this service from a service provider as well. And last but not least, again, something which is very, very popular now when you build the new style of applications is about containers. It's about breaking the big monolithic applications into microservices and orchestrating that, typically using Kubernetes. But I don't know if any of you really touch Kubernetes. This is tough to manage. So again, managed Kubernetes as a service has got high demand in the market. So as a service provider, look at one of those use cases. You can start with one of them, two of them. What we do is we deliver all three, and we deliver it in a very simple way to use in a multi-tenancy manner for service providers. Pick the use cases where you believe you can sell first, and then grow with them, and then move to the other use cases.
Okay, so you decided to build your software, especially on Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and you have been joining Cloud28+ a few years ago. So what is the interest for a service provider to join Cloud28+?
I think the big asset of Cloud28+ is the community power. And I can tell you two things that we've learned in the last year using the platform. One, it was a great tool for us to expose our offering to service providers. So it was easy for service providers to understand who we are and to get in touch with us. But not less important is our ability to listen to the service providers. And Xavier, you mentioned the surveys, the engines that are used in the Cloud28+ platform, which allows us, shows us what are the things that the service provider need. And then we can do one of two things. Either we have the offering and then propose it to the service provider, or we are taking this feedback back to our engineering team or our product management team, and actually the service providers can influence, and they do influence our roadmap, which is the benefit, I think, for all the community. So, it's very
you are in a kind of cloud-in-a-box solution. We see that the interest it can bring. So for you, Chris, as a Cohesity Cloud28+, what are your expectations around that? What you feel it will bring to you and so on?
Yeah, I mean, Daryl, I see, is sitting in the audience. He's pitched Cloud28 to us, and we're really excited about it. Cohesity is trying to solve the problem of mass data fragmentation. And that basically means lots of data everywhere in different silos. And how do we get that message to service providers? How do we find out what they want? And that's where Cloud28+ really comes into its own, because it's connecting us with the service providers, with the partners. It allows us to test what we're trying to do. Are they interested? What would they change? What's different? Traditional marketing is okay, but the Cloud28 idea of outside-in marketing, where you get the community contributing, giving intelligence as what you should be doing, is really key. Things like e-campaigns as well, where we can direct our solutions to the wider community. Yeah, it's a fantastic way of us trying to add value, partners connecting with us, working collaboratively, and developing joint solutions really quickly. So really.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, and a round of applause to them. They have spent the time to discuss with you, share their experience. So high five to you. Just to close, on experience sharing for me is key. Just to close on this, and I will release you for the launch of the next session. Learn more about HP solutions. We have a full booth there, where a lot of the solutions I have been speaking about are explained. You will see even more. If you are interested in, you can see how today you can run computers into the electric liquid and not to build data centers. This is another thing that we are showing there, another member of Cloud28+. So a lot of innovation that you can have a look at. Register to Cloud28+, www.cloud28plus.com. This is free. You can become a registered user of that. You will see it's a lot of information, innovation. And as I said, it's not HP. It is the world of all the 900 plus 1,000 partners who are participating to this story. And speak with your local HP team, or if you want to contact me back, my email is there, xavierpoisson@hp.com. With that, I leave you. Thank you so much for today.